Hey guys, Alan here, out in the game room at the painting bench. I want to show you guys a brand new product line that was just released today from Gamers Grass, and that is these battle ready bases. This is a set of 25mm bases that are finished for winter. They've got snow on them, as you can see. There's 10 25mm bases in this pack here. There's two 60mm bases in this pack here, and then 4 of these 60mm oval bases. As you can see, they come completely finished with the ground covering already on. They are ready for use, and they look amazing. I'm going to post some sort of high definition pictures along with this video so you can see them up close. I'm going to get this out of the packaging maybe to get rid of that glare, and maybe you can see just how amazing they look. Really, really well done. So those are the winter ones, and there's more than just these available. These are just the ones that I've picked up for the first batch that we've got in here in the store, and these are the non-winter ones. They call the line Highland. This is the Highland series, and there's 10 25mm bases in there, and again 2 of the 60s in there, and then 4 of the 60mm ovals. Like I said, there are other sizes. There's I believe 32 and 40mm, and then there's some different shapes even. There's the square ones at 25 and 32mm, I believe, or 25 and 40, and then there's also some lip bases, the rounded lip bases. These are the normal bases, like maybe like Rubicon or Warlord, just a standard 25mm base, but there are some rounded lip bases, which I think is typical of GW, so they've done some like that. As a matter of fact, there's one right here. I believe this is the 40mm lip base. See if that'll focus. Doesn't really want to. There you go. And they're works of art. They're really, really quite amazing looking. I have already opened up a pack of the 25mm Highland ones, and I have attached a bunch of my, not a bunch, 10 of my British Airborne to them. So the very first thing I want to say is they look amazing. They're just, like I said, they're truly works of art. There are a couple of things worth mentioning when you're actually using them with figures. Any figure that's in a running pose and has 1 foot down on the ground is probably going to work out really well with these bases. If you have a figure like this with 2 feet down on the ground, it gets a little more difficult because there's so much ground covering, shrubs, Gamers Grass, rocks, things like that. There's so much on these that it's difficult to find 2 spaces where the feet can touch the ground without, you know, standing on top of a bush or something. You can scrape away a little bit of the ground covering and the bush, and that's exactly what I did here for his back foot. I had to clear away a little bit. This guy here, he's kneeling down and shooting. He actually ended up with 1 of his feet up on top of a rock, because that's just the only other place it could go. This guy here, actually, he's got 2 feet on the ground. One of his forward foot is also on a rock, which worked out okay. But I just want to let you guys know that on these things there is a lot going on here. There's a lot of ground covering, and there's not a lot of exposed ground. So when you go to put a guy down, like a kneeling guy like this, or any guy with 2 feet on the ground, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to figure out how to orient them and where, you know, where both of those feet are going to land on the ground, and you may have to create a little bit of blank space there. Now, If you're using an oval base like this, or one of the larger bases, the 60mm round, and you want to do a machine gun team or a mortar team, or in this case maybe a sniper or an observer laying down on the ground, honestly I'm not really sure how you're going to do that. If you got a prone guy laying down, there just isn't any open ground to do that. So a base like this might be good for a 2 or 3 man team of some kind, as long as they're standing. You know, maybe a machine gun team that's walking or something. These 60mm bases in games like Bolt Action are generally used for you know, team weapons like a medium or heavy mortar or a very small artillery piece. But again, there's a lot going on here, and there's not a lot of space to attach them to the ground. So that is the only, I don't want to call it a negative, but it's definitely a challenge with these. It's going to be a challenge to get some things mounted, and I'm going to give the company Gamers Grass a little bit of feedback along those lines, because this is literally day one of this product being released. It was actually scheduled to be released tomorrow, but today it all happened. So I'm going to suggest to them that perhaps maybe all of these could be just slightly less dense with the vegetation, maybe a little more sparse. Like I said, they look amazing, but sometimes that look gets in the way of functionality. But I think you can see here from these guys, I'm going to post up a video at the end of this and some stills that show close-ups of all these guys, but they all came out amazing. They really look great. Again, the guys with 2 feet on the ground were a little bit of an extra challenge, but it did all work out, and I think they all look amazing. So these products here, made by Gamers Grass, they're called Battle Ready bases in 25, 60 millimeter rounds and 60mm ovals, both in the Highland and in the Winter, are available at gcmini.com right now. And once we get some of these moved out, we're going to place a restocking order, and it's going to include a lot of the other shapes and sizes that they make. But this was just a good beginning, I think, for getting started with this product line. So on a 1 to 10 scale, I'm going to give them about an 8. If I was just basing them on how they look in the package, they'd get 10s for sure. But I'm going to go with about an 8, I think, because of the density of the ground covering and how difficult it makes it to mount some figures. But even an 8's a pretty damn good score, because this is what I was working with before. These were my bases that that these British guys came off of. A little bit of ground covering, a little bit of Gamers Grass tufts on there. They looked alright, but they really look nothing like what we have now. This is a whole different level of basing. So probably I'm going to have to get some more of these 25mm bases and completely redo all of my British Airborne. Otherwise I'm going to have 10 really bitchin' looking dudes and 20 or 30 more that aren't quite so nice. So it looks like I'm going to have to redo them all. But there you go. That's my quick product announcement, review, first impressions, etc. of the new Battle Ready bases from Gamers Grass. Definitely an 8 out of 10. Highly recommend you give these a try. If you think there's something that you'd like, go for it, and you have my recommendation. So that's about it for tonight. Coming up, like I said, at the end of this video, I'm going to post some pictures, and I did a video of these guys on a turntable so you can see them from all angles. Post that up right now, and there you go. Until next time, keep on gaming.